Unlock the miraculous. The last 3 days of August 13 to 15 hold divine revelations beyond the lion. Mary stood before the old stone chapel, the setting sun casting a warm golden hue over the humble village of St. Bartholomew. But shadows loomed within her heart. Her son, Jacob, was sick. Not just sick, he was gravely ill, diagnosed with a rare condition that left even the doctors shaking their heads in despair. Yet, within her, a flicker of divine hope ignited, whispering that these last days of August could change everything. As twilight descended, Mary felt the pull of the Holy Spirit nudging her. Call them. Gathering her courage, she stepped into the chapel, a place worn by prayer and perseverance. Join me in seeking St. Jude, she declared, the saint of hopeless causes. Her voice was strong, though her heart trembled. Let us pray for a miracle for Jacob. Each night leading up to August 15th, the chapel filled with friends, family and curious onlookers, drawn by the promise of something extraordinary. As they joined hands, the atmosphere thickened with anticipation. Flickering candles cast dancing shadows on the stone walls, and Mary felt an electricity in the air. People began sharing sightings of soft glows, a whisper of wind where there was none, the fragrance of flowers blooming in winter. It was as if the very heavens wove amongst them, stirring their hearts with unshakable faith. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the days dwindled to the final ones of August, signs escalated. On August 14th, Mary noticed something profound. A local farmer, known for his skepticism, wept openly during prayers, his heart cracked open by the fervor around him. A child, scared and trembling, found peace in the presence of shared faith. Each encounter served as confirmation that they were on the verge of something miraculous. But on August 15th, dark clouds rolled in with furious intensity, mocking the hopeful glow of the chapel. Thunder rumbled ominously, and the wind howled like a banshee. Tensions erupted. Enough! Some shouted, voices layered with fear. This storm proves it's time to abandon our prayers. They yelled, urging many to flee into the safety of their homes. Then, in that charged atmosphere, Jacob, as if stirred by a force greater than this world, rose from his sickbed. The sickly pallor drained from him, replaced by radiance. His eyes, once clouded with anxiety, now sparkled as if lit by heaven's own fire. I talked to St. Jude, he exclaimed, causing everyone to stop, breath hitching in collective disbelief. He said we need faith, even when storms loom, for it's in those dark moments that we truly see light. A heavenly hush fell over the chapel, the storm outside a mere whisper compared to the fervor rising within. Would the townsfolk surrender to fear, or embrace this miraculous moment? Mary, teeming with questions, felt unity dancing on the edge of realization. These days of divine revelations had opened a doorway. Perhaps they could illuminate the darkness brought by their doubts. That as the storm raged on, hearts hung in the balance, not just in the village, but in the depths of Mary's soul. The question lingered. Would they all unite to rejoice in the miracle of faith? Or would the shadows of uncertainty overshadow their newfound hope? The storm howled, and walls trembled, but somehow in that chapel, they glimpsed the first glimmers of salvation. The sky may yet split open with blessings. But what further trials awaited their fragile community? As the storm outside lashed against the chapel's stone walls, it felt as if nature itself held its breath, waiting for a reaction. Inside, the air crackled with a kind of electric peace. Jacob's words lingered like a delicate melody amid the chaotic crashing of thunder. We need faith, he had said, and deep down, Mary sensed the truth of his proclamation resonating within her. People exchanged glances, eyes wide with disbelief and hope mingling together. Mary could see the skepticism starting to fade, replaced by a flicker of trust. Jacob, she whispered, approaching him with shaking hands. What did St. Jude say to you? He paused, collecting his thoughts. Golden light from the candles illuminating his face, a face that now bore the glow of restored life. He spoke of faith that stands strong against storms. It's about believing even when all feels lost. The purity of his message wrapped around the gathered crowd, inviting them softly to let go of their fears. One by one, they began to step forward. The farmer, once embittered and hard, wiped tears from his cheeks. "I've fought belief my entire life," he admitted, voice thick with emotion. "But today, I feel something alive in me, because of your faith, Jacob." More voices chimed in, hesitant at first, but then stronger. "I have been afraid," a young woman confessed. "Afraid to hope, afraid to trust. But I'll take a leap of faith today." The storm raged on, but it felt distant now. A fading echo compared to the resounding belief growing in the sacred space of the chapel. A soft golden light began to fill the room, overtaking the flickering shadows. It was as if the pressures of their world, a world bruised by doubt, melted away under that illumination. Suddenly, Mary felt a warm presence envelop her. It was almost tangible, brushing against her heart like gentle fingers. In those moments of genuine connection, she realized they were not just praying for Jacob anymore. They were praying for each other, building a tapestry of faith that couldn't be broken. The storm outside continued to rage, a dramatic backdrop amplifying the divine work unfolding inside the chapel. As Mary led her flock in prayer, her voice rose above the chorus of thunder. Together, they recited their hopes, their fears, and their gratitude. Each amen felt like an affirmation, a declaration to the heavens that they would not let darkness win in the midst of it all. A sudden and complete silence fell. As if time stood still, Mary opened her eyes and felt something shift. The presence was overwhelming, bathing them in a warmth that pierced through the coldness of doubt. She turned to Jacob. "What do we do now?" she asked, uncertain yet filled with expectation. With a radiant smile, he replied, "We keep our hearts open. The miracle is not just in my healing, but in all of us believing together." And just as those words left his lips, an unexpected sight illuminated the chapel. A small window, long covered by dust and darkness, began to glow with heavenly light. It opened wide, revealing a dazzling scene that no earthly eyes had ever witnessed. Gasps filled the room, and Mary's heart raced with a mixture of fear and excitement. What did they see? What message lay beyond that luminous threshold? Could it be the very answer to their prayers? The doubt that had once clung to them was gone, but the mystery remained. As they all gazed, breathless, at this unfolding vision, one question echoed loudly in Mary's mind. What would this miraculous revelation mean for their lives going forward? The answer awaited them, shrouded in divine mystery. The light from the window beckoned them, a divine invitation that shimmered brightly like the dawn breaking forth after a long night. Mary's heart thudded in her chest, each beat echoing with a mix of fear and anticipation. The other inhabitants of the chapel hesitated, exchanging glances filled with wonder and uncertainty. "What do we do?" the farmer whispered, his worn hands trembling slightly. Jacob stepped forward, his gaze locked onto the dazzling light. "We step into it with faith." His words rang out like a bell, firm and unwavering, cutting through the tension in the air. Without a second thought, Mary followed him as he took a step toward the window. She felt as though her heart might burst with a mixture of fear and faith. Who were they to approach such a sacred vision? But the light was not just illumination, it was warmth. It wrapped around her like a soft blanket, dissolving her doubts. Others began to follow her, nodding to one another in silent agreement. They formed a line, cautiously drawing nearer to the radiant presence. As they came closer, details of the scene beyond the window became clearer. Illuminated figures danced in the ethereal light, their faces radiant with joy and peace. Each one seemed to radiate love, their laughter mingling with the sound of gentle music that floated down to them, soothing their spirits like a balm. "Are they angels?" someone asked from the back, voice barely above a whisper. "It feels like they are," Mary replied, her own voice tinged with awe. In that moment, time seemed to stretch as Mary reached out, daring to touch the threshold of light. A flicker of energy coursed through her fingers, sending shivers down her spine. Waves of understanding washed over her like a gentle tide. She suddenly felt connected, not just to these people, but to something much greater. "Faith," she murmured, realizing the potent truth of Jacob's words. "This light is our faith made visible." People around her nodded, tears shimmering in their eyes as they began to understand. The collective skepticism had been dissolved, replaced with a burning desire to embrace the revelation laid before them. Jacob, standing now among the gathering, raised his arms like a shepherd welcoming in his flock. "It is here," he declared, voice ringing with authority. "The answers we seek, the healing we need, and the love that binds us all. We must trust this moment." And with those words, the luminous landscape seemed to pulse with life. Colors danced and swirled, revealing hidden wonders: mountains, rivers of crystal-clear water, fields of flowers adorned with dew. Each image painted a vision of hope and renewal, beckoning them to believe in a future untainted by despair. Suddenly, a figure stepped forward from the light, descending into the chapel itself. A woman, draped in shimmering garments, approached with a serene expression. Her eyes sparkled with wisdom as she surveyed the crowd. "You have come together in faith. What do you seek?" The question hung in the air, charged with significance. Each person felt the weight of it, a sacred inquiry that dug deep into their souls. Jacob raised his hand, and they all stood a little taller, united in purpose. "We seek healing, hope, and direction," he answered, voice steady. Mary's heart raced. What would this divine being reveal next? What would she say about their struggles, their fears, their lives woven together by faith? Immediate silence enveloped the chapel once more, pregnant with hesitation and trust. The air was thick with expectancy, each soul waiting for the sacred words that would change everything. What wisdom would unfold? What journey lay ahead for them? The answers hovered tantalizingly close, delicate threads waiting to be drawn forth into the light. The figure regarded them, her eyes deep pools of compassion. "Healing, hope, and direction, such noble pursuits," she spoke, her voice gentle like a whispering breeze. "But remember, what you seek is often found within you first. To heal, you must be willing to confront the wounds you carry. To hope, you must trust beyond what your eyes perceive. And for direction, you must first listen." Mary felt the weight of her words settle over them like a warm cloak. Every heartbeat echoed with the truth. They were not just words but seeds planted in their hearts, ready to bloom with faith. Each person shifted slightly, processing the call to look within. Jacob nodded, holding fast to the moment. "What do we need to let go of?" He pondered aloud, voice tinged with curiosity. The room felt electric, the question lingering in the air like a drawn bowstring. The woman smiled softly, a glimmer of light reflecting in her eyes. "Fear holds many back. It paints a barrier around the heart. But to access the abundance of love and peace, you must relinquish it. What burdens do you carry that no longer serve your journey?" Tears pooled in Mary's eyes, for she realized how tightly she had clutched her fears. They had weighed her down, dimming the light of faith within. "I am afraid of failing," she whispered, voice trembling like a leaf in the wind. "I fear that my past mistakes can never be overcome." Others began to share their burdens, their voices stirring in the sanctuary. The farmer spoke of doubt, a mother of loss, a young man of loneliness. Each confession wove a tapestry of shared struggle, a thread of vulnerability binding them all together. The woman listened intently, her arms raised in a gesture of encouragement. "You are not defined by your past. You are shaped by your resilience. Trust that you can rise, just as the dawn breaks the darkness. Engage with your wounds, and they can transform into your strength." With these words, the light outside the window seemed to swell in brightness, reflecting off her shimmering garments. Mary's heart soared. Hope was no longer a distant dream but a living, breathing reality. Suddenly, the woman gestured toward the window. "Now, if you wish, I invite you to step into the light. Together, let us embrace the healing that awaits." A palpable energy surged through Mary as she glanced at Jacob, whose eyes were filled with determination. With shared resolve, they advanced toward the window. As they crossed the threshold, the world around them transformed completely. They stood in a vibrant meadow, surrounded by fields bursting with wildflowers. The laughter of children echoed nearby, their joy infectious. The radiant figures danced closer, inviting them to join. Mary spun around in disbelief, overwhelmed with the beauty enveloping her. The burdens she once cradled slipped away, and in their place blossomed a sense of belonging and acceptance. "See how the divine light nurtures all creation?" the woman said, her presence steadying. Every moment filled with love is a reflection of the divine within. Know that you are never alone. Tears flowed freely down Mary's cheeks, but these tears held a brightness of gratitude. She turned to the others, who were now lost in wonder, their fears fading like mist in the morning sun. But just as they began to understand this new reality, a rumble echoed in the distance, soft at first, then growing louder. "What is that?" someone whispered, eyes wide with awe. The woman turned, her expression shifting to one of focus. "Change approaches, my beloveds. Not all shall remain as it seems, for the journey continues. Are you ready for what comes next?" They stood, hearts racing with anticipation. What would this change bring? Would it test their newfound faith, their unity, and their courage? As the sky darkened and the air thickened with tension, the question hung like a promise, inviting them to take the next leap together. What awaited them in the depths of this divine mystery? The ground trembled slightly beneath them, a soft yet urgent reminder that something profound was on the horizon. The sky above shifted, a canvas of swirling darks and lights, casting a mystical glow across the meadow. The laughter of children, once bright and carefree, faded into a hush. As anticipation hung thick in the air, Mary felt a thrill run down her spine. Her heart raced, not with fear, but with the electrifying possibility of what lay ahead. "What are we supposed to do?" she whispered, turning to the woman, who remained steadfast amidst the shifting realities around them. "Embrace the unknown," the woman replied, serenity radiating from her every word. "There is courage in uncertainty, and the divine often reveals hope where we cannot yet see it." Jacob stepped forward, emboldened. "Are we being tested? Is this a trial?" He sensed the hesitation among the gathered souls around them. Each face wore a shadow of uncertainty, a mirror of his own inner turmoil. "Not a trial, but an invitation to expand," the woman affirmed. "Your journey does not end here. It unfolds like the petals of a blossom, revealing layers of discovery. Remember, the heart knows the way if you allow it to lead." As she spoke, the rumbling crescendoed into a melody, a hauntingly beautiful sound that resonated deep within their spirits. It was as if the very earth sang a hymn of hope, urging them to step forward. Mary closed her eyes, letting the music envelop her. In that sacred moment, she realized that the darkness surrounding them was not a wall but a gateway, a door waiting to be opened. Jacob took a deep breath, the scent of wildflowers filling the air, a vivid reminder of their newfound joy. "We must trust," he said, looking into Mary's eyes. "Trust that this journey is meant for us." "Yes, let us move together," Mary replied, a comforting warmth blossoming in her chest. With a shared glance, they stepped forward, arms linked with one another. The others followed, a tapestry of light gathering close around the woman who had led them. As they advanced, the ground beneath shifted in dynamic ways, forming paths that rippled like water. Each step felt like a dance, the earth harmonizing with their spirit. The once subtle rumble transformed into a rush of life, cascading waves of color erupting around them. "Keep your hearts open," the woman exclaimed, her voice echoing above the wondrous symphony of nature. "You are surrounded by the divine dance of all creation." In that moment, everything changed. The meadow evolved into a kaleidoscope of visions, swirling colors and ethereal beings enveloping them. They could feel the presence of love and reassurance in every breeze, every blossom. "Look!" shouted one of the young women, pointing to the sky. A magnificent radiant light broke through the clouds, spilling down like liquid gold. It warmed their skin, igniting hope in every heart. "This light, this is divinity," Mary gasped, eyes wide in joyful wonder. Her heart raced with belief, buoyed by the clarity that enveloped her. Every doubt she carried began to evaporate into the euphoric atmosphere. Yet, even amidst the beauty, a shadow flickered in the corners of her mind. "But what must we confront to receive this blessing?" she wondered aloud, a familiar doubt inching back in. The woman turned, her gaze piercing through layers of fear. "That which you keep hidden holds the key, not only within your hearts but in the hearts of those around you. Do you dare to unlock the miraculous?" The question hung like a star in the twilight, shimmering with potential. Mary felt her spirit leap, a spark of recognition tugging at her. What if the heaviness she and her companions carried was not merely their own, but intertwined with each other's journeys. As they stood on the precipice of discovery, the path before them uncertain yet bright, the echoes of the divine call resounded. What awaited them was still a mystery, but the promise of revelation painted the horizon, calling them deeper into the embrace of faith. What sacred truths lay hidden, waiting to be awakened in the dance of their collective journey? The ground beneath their feet continued to pulsate with energy, a heartbeat of the earth synchronized with their own. Mary, emboldened by the luminous light above and the comforting presence of her companions, felt a movement deep within her soul. It was an urge to awaken something that had long been dormant. Can we truly uncover what is deep inside us? She asked the woman, her eyes searching for confirmation. Yes, came the smooth response, filled with unwavering faith. It requires vulnerability and courage. For every layer you reveal, a deeper part of you will emerge. And in that, you will find the miraculous. The air around them thickened with potential, resonating with whispers of kindred spirits, drawing out tears of joy mingled with uncertainty. Jacob's voice broke through, trembling yet firm. What if we're afraid of what we discover? What if we're not ready? Fear can serve as a guide, the woman replied. It shows you where your heart longs for healing. Just as a chrysalis hides a butterfly, your struggles may be the very thing concealing your true light. They paused collectively, absorbing the truth in her words. Mary inhaled deeply, her heart swelling with a blend of fear and hope. Shall we begin? She proposed, feeling the weight of the moment settle around them. With a silent agreement, they clasped hands tighter, urging each other forward, taking that first step into the ethereal glow that beckoned them. The path shimmered, revealing sparkling fragments of joy and sorrow intermingled like threads woven into a tapestry, a story waiting to be told. Suddenly, the colors around them started swirling faster, igniting a kaleidoscope of visions. They stood, mesmerized, as each member of their group began to see flashes of their lives play out before them. Laughter, pain, love, loss, each image a reminder of the shared human experience. Is this what we're meant to confront? Whispered a young man, his voice laced with emotion. The essence of who we are? Exactly, the woman replied softly. This is the unveiling. The divine knows you, every wound and every triumph. And through this seeing, you will be set free. Tears streamed down Mary's cheeks. In the rapid fire of images, she felt the pulse of many hearts beat along with hers. Each sorrow seen was sorrow shared. Each joy celebrated was joy magnified. The shadows of doubt began to lift, replaced by warmth that radiated hope. Then, like a shattering glass, something profound shifted. Without warning, the vibrant tableau of their memories solidified into one scene: a mother cradling a child, the earth blooming in spring, hands raised in worship. Those moments fused together, emanating an energy so potent that it brought forth gasps from the group. Every fragment of our being matters, Jacob proclaimed, as if a revelation had touched his spirit. Even our brokenness can lead to beauty. Yes, the woman cried, her joy infectious. This recognition is the unlocking. In connection, the miraculous flourishes. The light overhead intensified, bathing them in soothing warmth. Mary felt an undeniable shift surge through her body, a wave of grace washing over her, leaving her heart lighter, filled with a radiant resolve. This unveiling, this revealing, was not just about their individual truths but about the collective strength they fostered together. Embrace your stories, the woman called with fervor. When you step into the light of truth, you ignite a spark that can illuminate the world. In that moment, Mary understood. The path forward was not only theirs to pave, but a luminous invitation for others waiting in the shadows, yearning to share their burdens. With this newfound revelation, they took a collective breath. They were no longer simply stepping onto a path of self-exploration. They were becoming vessels for divine transformation. Yet still, questions lingered, suspended in the golden air. What awaited them on this illuminated journey? What other hidden truths would they uncover? The invitation extended deeper, charging them with a sacred mission under the flickering stars of hope. Would they dare to embrace the entirety of their stories and unlock something truly miraculous? As they absorbed the radiant warmth, the vibrant light around them flickered, almost as if responding to the pulse of their collective excitement. Mary felt the connections deepening, each heartbeat echoing the unity of their mission. It wasn't just about their own journeys, but a tapestry woven rich with the threads of shared experiences and divine purpose. The woman stepped forward, her presence now magnified by a heaviness of wisdom. "Listen closely," she urged, her voice like a gentle breeze. "Each of you carries a unique piece of the greater truth. What rises within will guide you, heal you, and lead you to profound transformations." With that pronouncement, the air shimmered again, revealing a wall of deep indigo. One by one, figures began to emerge within the colors, showing the struggles and triumphs of those who came before them. Old souls from distant times danced through the resonance, inviting the travelers to engage with their struggles. Mary stood transfixed as she saw glimpses of hope shining through the hardship. She witnessed a farmer tending to a patch of earth, watching it flourish after a bitter winter. Next, a young woman held her newborn close, eyes brimming with tears of gratitude amidst uncertainty. Each vision brought forth emotions that stirred within her, a mirror reflecting the passions and fears she too had carried. "Every story has its challenges," the woman continued. "But remember, the divine presence resides in the moments of triumph. Look closely, discover the wisdom woven within the trials." Jacob stepped forward, his brow furrowed. "What if our stories hold darkness? What if the truths we uncover are too painful to bear?" "Darkness and light coexist in harmony," the woman replied with a tender smile. "Your darkest moments often birth the brightest revelations. Remember this. Pain is not the end, but a passage to a greater understanding." As the visions spun around them, Mary felt a pull towards a scene of vibrant flames. It flickered before her, a ball of energy suspended in space, crackling with potential. This fire did not consume, it illuminated. Each flicker told a story of resilience, courage, and transformation. She realized then that within her own fears lay the flame waiting to ignite her true purpose. "What if we let them see us, truly see us?" Mary asked, her voice barely a whisper as the weight of the question lingered in the air. "Then there will be healing," the woman responded, her eyes sparkling with understanding. "Your true selves, once revealed, create an inviting light for others. This is the miracle." With new determination, they broke their huddle, each stepping towards the fiery light that swirled before them. Like moths to a flame, they reached out, hands brushing against the warmth. Suddenly, together they felt a surge, a current connecting their hearts, igniting the light within each of them. Laughter rose like a melody, the sound rising over them, celebrating life in its many hues, through laughter, through tears, through love. And as they embraced the light, memories woven in threads of sorrow and joy transformed into an ethereal glow around them. They understood their sacred mission, that opening up to each other's stories would release ripples of hope beyond their immediate circle. The woman's voice broke through once more. "As you elevate your stories, remember the world outside awaits to feel this illumination. The broken-hearted need your courage. The wandering souls long for your light." As the awareness washed over them, they sensed that they were on the cusp of something profound. Suddenly, the vibrant fire began to dim as the walls of color shifted, indicating a transition, and indeed, a critical moment of choice lay ahead. What fears would they confront next? What unexpected truths would be unveiled in the unfolding journey ahead? Together, with hearts entwined, they stood ready, gazing into the mystery awaiting just beyond the horizon. The light began to fade, but within that dimming brilliance, a new kind of anticipation pulsed in the air. As the colorful visions slipped away, they were met with a gentle stillness that enveloped them. The heaviness of the world outside seemed to lift, replaced by an exhilarating sense of possibility. Mary took a deep breath, feeling the energy shifting. It was as if the universe was holding its breath along with them. "What lies ahead?" she murmured, not expecting an answer but filled with hope. The wise woman stood tall, her gaze penetrating yet warm. "The path you take reveals not just your strength, but the faith that dances within each of you," she said, her voice resonating softly. "Let it guide you. What you discover next will stretch your hearts and open doors you never thought existed." Jacob stepped closer, eyes wide with curiosity and perhaps a touch of fear. "But what if we fail? What if we aren't enough?" "You are more than enough," the woman reassured, her hands raised as if to gather the worries in the air. "You are sparks of the divine. Embrace your vulnerability. It is a bridge to your growth. In those unsettling moments, forge deeper connections and find faith you never knew existed. Without warning, the space around them shimmered again, pulling them into a different realm. A new scene unfolded beneath a canopy of stars, each glistening as if imbued with stories waiting to be told. Mary felt the warmth of the night air, as they emerged amidst a gathering of souls, each one shining with their own unique light, revealing their truths. Here, the woman gestured, "You'll understand the power of vulnerability, how it binds all stories together." One by one, figures began sharing heartfelt tales. A child spoke of her first encounter with loss, her bravery layered in innocence. An elder shared his regrets and the burdens he carried, yet found healing in forgiveness. The air crackled with tears and laughter woven seamlessly, a tapestry of human experience. As Mary listened, she realized that their stories were not so dissimilar. Each tale resonated with kernels of truth that connected her to every soul present. Once afraid of stepping forward, she now felt drawn to speak. "What if we gather these stories, share them more broadly?" she proposed, her heart racing. "We could spread this light beyond this sacred space." "Yes," Jacob chimed, a bright smile breaking through his earlier anxiety. "We could be vessels of hope." The woman smiled knowingly. Every story shared creates a ripple, and with each ripple, the divine love flows outward, seeking those who need it most. Your mission is to be the conduit for this transformation, a shared journey to illuminate darkened paths. Suddenly, the stars flickered brighter against the black velvet sky, and a feeling of unity swept over them. Faces lit with recognition and purpose. This was their calling. In that instant, Mary felt a surge of faith and clarity. They had been equipped with stories that had the power to reach beyond themselves. The unknown beckoned ahead, a field of potential waiting to blossom through their brave choices. But beneath it all, one question lingered, whispering through the air. Are you ready to share your light with those still in the shadows? With hope emboldened and hearts stirred, they listened in the silence, aware that the next door waiting to be opened might lead them a step closer to the divine. As the stars shimmered, a gentle wind brushed against their faces, carrying whispers of dreams yet to unfold. Time seemed to stretch, each heartbeat resonating with promise. Mary glanced at Jacob, who remained close, his expression now a blend of wonder and determination. "Look at them," she breathed, gesturing to the gathering. "Each story, a precious thread. Together, they weave something magnificent." Jacob nodded slowly. "But how do we begin? Where do we share them?" The wise woman stepped forward again, her presence grounding. "You must listen to your hearts. Each story is a door, and when they come together, they form a passage to hope. It starts within you." But before the glow of those magnificent words could settle, a new energy surged through the air around them. A low hum vibrated, and the gentle rustle of leaves turned into a melody, a song of unity. The figures around them began to sway, their lights intertwining, creating a brilliant tapestry that danced under the starlit sky. Mary felt her heart quicken. "We need a space somewhere where everyone can find us," she exclaimed. "A place to gather and share without hesitation." The idea flickered to life in her mind, igniting an urgency that she had not realized was even there. "Yes," Jacob echoed, his eyes alight. "But how do we move from this moment into the world?" The wise woman raised her hand, and the music began to quiet, allowing the lingering silence to envelop them. Each face turned toward her, a sea of expectation mingling with hope. "Do not fear the steps ahead. It is through the vulnerability of sharing that strength arises. Trust in each other. Trust in the light within." As she spoke, a soft glow enveloped her, illuminating her like the dawn breaking after a long night. The others leaned in, drawn closer by an invisible thread of connection, a manifestation of their shared desire to illuminate the world with their truths. Mary felt herself enveloped in warmth, a reminder that they were not alone. "We can craft a gathering," she whispered, her words spilling out as if they had been waiting. "A circle of stories. A night under these very stars, inviting all those who carry burdens." The wise woman smiled, eyes twinkling like the stars overhead. "A beautiful notion. The act of gathering will draw kindred spirits. Your stories will nourish hearts starving for understanding. But remember, it takes courage to reveal oneself. Are you prepared to stand emotionally bare before others?" Mary and Jacob exchanged a glance, their spirits bolstered by the energy surrounding them. Yes, they both breathed almost in unison, a pact formed by trust and divine purpose. The elder who had first shared his story now came forward, indicating his willingness to lead the way. We will be the torchbearers. Each of us carries a light, he said, his voice steady yet infused with emotion. Together, we shine brighter. Encouraged by his words, a ripple of agreement swept through the gathering. It was infectious, hearts beating as one in that sacred space. A hand reached out, taking Mary's. Let us take the steps. Together, Jacob said with confidence, his voice steady as the guiding light of the stars above. As they formed a circle, hands clasping in unity, the energy building around them pulsed through the air, a shimmering invitation to the world beyond the veil of hope. Every story was a seed waiting to bloom in the hearts of countless others. With every breath, their words began to form the foundation of something magnificent. An awakening whispered through the crowd, tinged with the fragrance of possibility. Mary felt a stirring deep within her soul. We're not just sharing stories. We are kindling faith, she declared, her voice ringing out stronger now. A murmured chorus of agreement followed, wrapping around them like a sacred promise. As the stars above twinkled brightly, Mary realized their next step rested in devotion as they dove into the spacious unknown. But even as anticipation surged, another question unfurled itself in the back of her mind. Will the world be ready to receive the light we bring? And, with that, they felt the weight of their mission swell, a divine mystery waiting to unfold. The sun rose on the morning of August 16th, casting a gentle light that bathed the meadow in warmth. The sounds of nature sang a sweet chorus, greeting the new day, a day that bore the promise of transformation. Mary stood still, savoring the moment, her heart brimming with hope as she turned to Jacob. Are we ready for this? She asked, uncertainty mixing with excitement. Jacob, glowing with newfound strength, nodded firmly. Yes. It's time to step into our purpose. We've been given this light, and together, we will share it. The wise woman stood among them, her presence radiating tranquility. Remember, dear souls, what you have ignited within is not yours alone. As you gather stories, you will discover that the light you nurture will illuminate paths beyond your own. The morning sun poured through the trees, illuminating the faces of those around them, each a vibrant component of something much larger than themselves. The realization washed over the gathering. They were not mere individuals but a family woven together by faith and shared experiences. After days fueled by prayer and miracles, they knew their next step was crucial. They had to create a space where others could come, share, and find healing through the tapestry of their stories. With determined hearts, they began to sow the seeds of their vision, an event unlike any other that would invite the world to join them in this sacred circle. What should we call it? A voice called from the back, hesitating yet eager. Mary, inspired by the spirit of unity, exclaimed, "Let us call it the Gathering of Light. A place where souls can come, share their burdens, and find hope in each other." Yes, Jacob added, his voice ringing with enthusiasm. A night under the stars. We will invite everyone to bring their stories. One by one, they shared ideas, their collective energy rising, crackling with the electric promise of change. The wise woman nodded, encouraging them to articulate their dreams further. Let your hearts guide you to those who are searching for warmth. Your light will attract those who need it most, she cooed. Days passed in a flurry of preparation. Posters decorated the village, proclamations echoed through streets, and excitement spread like wildfire. The chapel, once a sanctuary only for them, transformed into a beacon to the entire village of St. Bartholomew. As the evening of the Gathering of Light arrived, Mary stood at the entrance, a gentle breeze playing through her hair. Her heart raced with anticipation. Would the townsfolk respond? Would they share their truths, their authenticity? Soon, they began to arrive, friends and strangers, weary souls seeking solace. A hush fell over the crowd as Mary took the stage. Her voice trembled but grew steadier, filled with love. Welcome, everyone. We are here to share our light through stories, the joys, the heartaches, the triumphs. We grow strong when we embrace all parts of ourselves. The crowd listened, rapt and willing, and as more stories emerged, the atmosphere shifted. Vulnerability hung in the air like fragrant incense. The skeptic farmer shared his tale of loss, The young woman spoke of newfound courage, and the elderly man recounted moments of joy clouded by sorrow. Each narrative became a thread, weaving together their shared humanity. Mary felt tears roll down her cheeks, tears not of sorrow but of gratitude. She marveled at the power of their shared experiences. The community that had almost fractured was becoming beautifully whole again. As the stories flowed, and the light of understanding radiated through them, something remarkable happened. A warm glow enveloped the congregation. It was the divine presence they had felt in the chapel, restored and magnified tenfold by their unity. Laughter and tears intertwined, forming a sacred melody that danced through the air, reaching even the most hidden places in their hearts. With the finale approaching, Jacob stepped forward, his hand raised high. Let us reflect on who we are, in all our beautiful journeys. Together, we have unlocked the miraculous. The crowd erupted into applause, hearts buoyed by a divine purpose. Mary felt a wave of love surge through her, each heartbeat reverberating with the strength of their togetherness. The evening sky sparkled with stars, mirroring the brilliance within each soul gathered. The wise woman watched over them with a knowing smile, the colors around her shimmering with possibilities. As the gathering pressed on into the night, Mary turned to Jacob, warmth flourishing in her heart. This is just the beginning, isn't it? Yes, Jacob confirmed, his eyes shining brightly with hope. Together, we will continue to unlock the miraculous. This light cannot be contained. It's our calling to share it beyond these borders, into the world. And as the last story resonated into the night, they understood they were destined to carry forth this divine light, to cultivate faith, healing, and belonging far and wide. The journey would not always be easy, but with every step taken together, they would continue to uncover the beauty in their struggles and shine brighter than before. Their voices joined together in a harmonious symphony of hope. Amidst the flickering candlelight and warm embraces, their hearts united as one. This divine tapestry of stories would never cease to radiate the brilliance of Goddess love for all. Now, as you reflect on this powerful journey, we urge you to support this mission of faith. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that will inspire your soul. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and help spread the light beyond these digital walls. Comment your reactions and testimonies about the ending. We want to hear how this has touched your heart. And above all, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this miraculous manifestation of hope. You need to subscribe now, for this is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share with faith. We illuminate the world.